You know, you be thinking you successful and you thinking you killing it, but you just been hustling. You just been hustling. You ain't really, you ain't switched gears. You know what I'm saying? Like McDonald's, Apple, they not hustling. It's Chick-fil-A, it's systematically. You know what I'm saying? It's systematically going through the progress. You know what I'm saying? Like it's premeditated. What I realized about myself was I'm so used to that. So I put different hustles in play that create stress because I'm good in stressful environments. What I started to realize was instead of doing that, we gotta get out of hustle mode and we gotta get in like really building a business.
Hey, listen, how y'all feel? Hey, let me tell you something, like I feel the power up here. I feel the power up here because I understand something. When you put people in the same proximity that got the same perception, you can get power. Like when you put the right people in the room and they got the same vision that align, that proximity, like it incubates something. It cooks something. It fertilizes something. Good soil fertilizes good seeds, y'all. I don't think they heard it. There's some good soil right here. I just want you to understand when we think about prosperity, it ain't just about you. We're talking about heirs. Like I don't know if I was an heir. Like I don't know. I don't remember nobody saying like you're my heir. And like I had to check the spelling when I saw it. That's an H, not an A. That's two different words. There's a dichotomy between that I ain't getting. Who made that word? Why is the English dictionary so messed up like this? But I want us to understand that when we equipped ourselves, we are ready to go to war. Yes. I'm going to disappoint you because I'm not really going to talk about stocks. The Wall Street trap, I got to talk about stocks. Not today. Because I want us to understand when we on a path of prosperity, the number one goal to be prosperous is to move forward. Forcefully, overriding, weak answers, and reestablishing dedication. I want us to understand that because on the path of prosperity, what happens is we have a feeling when we set our mind to attain a goal. We excited, I got the new goal, I got the new vision, but then when we realize that on the journey, it gets harder than we thought and we ain't learned how to reestablish ourselves. Y'all been there before. You got the vision. I'm about to hire the coach. I'm about to take the class. I'm about to go to the path of prosperity. Once I leave here, I get 2 weeks in and I ain't realized this is what it was going to take from me. So you know what? I'm going to just go back to what I was doing when I was doing it, and that wasn't working for me. And I don't know how to reestablish myself. So the most important part of that is the beginning. Forcefully, overriding. Now, in the middle, we got what we got to do. What I like to say is your dedication to the process determines your progress.
Let's set projections. So how you going to set a year projection? How you set a mid-year projection? How you set a high projection? How you set these projections for yourself? I'm like, man, I don't know shit. I just go get money. All right, like, so he ain't had to tell me, but in my mind, sitting here, I realized I'm the dumbest person in this room right here. All right, I'm hustling.
But that's kind of good, though. You know,
of course.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm hustling.
When you feel like,
yeah.
I'm at the bottom.
I'm at the bottom, bro. I don't even know nothing.
Right.
Like, I'm hustling. So you come to the realization. You tell yourself that, like, oh, all right, I'm hustling. It look good to the people that only know hustling.
Right.
Yeah. You feel me? It look good to the people, to the people that only know hustling. Yeah. You look like you killing it. But what happens is the hustle burn out.
So I love to use the Bible, and it says that what good is it for a man to, gain the world and lose his soul, right? So I got this thing I like to call trap gospel, right? It's stuff that I live by, right? So trap gospel 5 and 16, right? Trap gospel 5 and 16 says, What good is it for me to teach a man how to be a millionaire if all he gonna do instead of taking the shackles off, he gonna put a diamond in it because he infatuated with being a rich slave? What good is it? What good is it? What's good? What good is it? Why? Why teach him? Why teach him about stocks if he infatuated with being a rich slave? Why teach him about real estate if he infatuated with being a rich slave? Why teach him how to leverage life insurance if he infatuated with being a rich slave? Why teach him how to get the intellectual property from writing a book if he infatuated with being a rich slave? What we doing? What we doing? So in my mind, I'm like, all right, Trap, we not going to just go with stocks because there's a residue of poverty, there's a residue of financial trauma that we got to overcome. So before we even think about being wealthy, before we even think about being prosperous, before we even think about generational wealth, we got to heal our own financial trauma. We got to heal that. So again, I apologize for not really talking about stocks today.
I like to use like biblical references because they make sense. They're so rich. So you think about this. So the Israelites left Egypt, was going to the promised land. It was an 11-day journey that took 40 years. The reason why it took 40 years, not because the destination shift, but the mindset on why they leaving shift, right? Meaning we want to leave, but then once people realize what it takes to get where they need to go at, it's easier to go back where I come from. Right, so what happens is we start to fight for the things that we want to get away from. So what happens in the culture right now is people want the information, people want to change their life. We gotta applaud that. But now we also, as educators, we have to be patient and empathetic enough to say, yo, there's going to be backlash. And the reason why there's going to be backlash is because people are financially traumatized.
So on the journey, there's a couple of things I want to talk about today that I need us to really let sink in. And the first thing is, what you do not own up to, you will repeat. Now remember, prosperity is about ownership, right? Like we want to own the property, but we ain't never owned the things that we doing wrong. It's everybody else's fault. It's the government fault. They ain't teach me this. It's my mama's fault that she ain't teach. It's my grandmother's fault. It's everybody's fault, but we ain't owning that we got a bad financial algorithm. Where my content creators at? Okay. The algorithm ain't letting your content get through. Right? So you get on Twitter and the algorithm. And Facebook keep changing the algorithm. YouTube keep changing the algorithm. So my content getting suffocated. This stuff tripping. I'm getting discouraged. But financially, what's your algorithm? Every time you get some money, what are the things that you consistently do with it that ain't nobody else's fault but yours? What's that financial algorithm? What is it that we keep repeating? How are we going to be prosperous if we keep repeating the same thing? What you do not own, you will consistently repeat. You got to vaccinate yourself from your own ignorance. What we doing, y'all? Marvin, I apologize that I'm not talking about stocks today. I apologize. I get it. Like I could have talked about real estate in the stock market in the form of REITs and you can get like passive income. I apologize for that. I could have talked about Marvin, let's leverage the life insurance so we can put the money from the life insurance in the options play. And then once we make the money from the options play, we can put the money back in the insurance policy, Marvin. We know that's a tool to be prosperous. We know that Marvin did it, but I apologize because if I don't heal you from the financial trauma, then all you're going to be is a rich slave and you're going to keep repeating the same cycle because your financial algorithm all screwed up. So we got to go through some things right here. We trapping or we trapping?
And a lot of times, with us being on the online space, a lot of us think about quitting because all of the backlash that come with it. We think about it. But then who's going to be left if we leave? Like the people who don't really do this, the people who don't really have no social proof, like execute steps that people can follow. We got to be the mirror. So
that's a fact.
That's all I'm on now. Just making sure I stay here. I take all the
Instagram cap, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. I understand why it's there.
Yep.
It's like,
and you don't get mad at it.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I don't get mad at when I see people doing certain stuff. Like I don't get mad at it, but it just make me double down on what I'm doing. Cause like sustenance will always remain.
Right? So how can we build wealth truly if we don't understand what's the blueprint that it takes to build wealth? And so when I look at some of the wealthiest families in the world, I look at some of the blueprints that they got in place. See, we be looking at how much money they worth. And what we do know about America and its capitalistic society is it is designed for whoever wants to make money, they can make money. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Let me put this out there for y'all, right? For my people. Like wealth don't care what color you wear. God dang. Like let me just make that clear. Like it don't really care. Like it don't matter. Right? It don't matter. Like in my neighborhood, I grew up with poor white and poor Mexican. We were fighting each other. We was all trying to jam up at the corner store. Like it didn't care. It didn't all of us was poor. All of us had the cans in the house that said pork. It said milk. It said cereal. It said cheese. And you had to be real smooth, because if not, the cheese gonna tear the bread. One side thick, one side slim. My bad if you come from something different, this part of the message probably ain't for you. Right? But my people who know, right, you gotta flip that thing. Damn, it's melted on one side. I need the right bread, because the bread we got the cheap, it done tore through the bread and the paper plate at the same time. It done tore through the bread, the paper plate. Now it's at the bottom of the thing in the microwave. Mama mad. I told you about putting that stuff in my microwave. Now I got to clean the microwave, and I still don't got the right sandwich. So I apologize for the people who that ain't for. Marvin, I apologize that I ain't talking about stocks today. So let me backtrack a little bit. So I grew up in 1982, product of Reaganomics. We know what that is, right? So 1981, 1982, decimated my communities. Crack, the war on drugs actually accelerated drugs. Poor middle-class people, you got took off free lunch. Welfare got hit. But drugs some kind of way, I don't know. I ain't never seen a coca leaf. But what I do know is what happens is the byproduct of that was you had destroyed families. What I do know the byproduct of that was you had a group of people who systematically became financially impoverished, economically suffocated. But that put us in position to be victim to predatory practices. So I ain't really understand inheritance like that. That's the word heir again. And so now we know that 60% of Americans right now have either inherited wealth, plan on inheriting wealth, or has been passed down wealth. So what that is deliberate wealth, deliberate inheritance, deliberate financial freedom, but most importantly, it's premeditated inheritance. There's a difference between premeditated wealth and there's another difference between somebody who is expecting to be in poverty. They're expecting normalizing check to check. Like there's a juxtaposition. I love when I pull him out.
Let's say I go talk to OG. Let's say OG done hit for 100 million. I'm trying to tell OG how dope I am because I done made 5 million. He like, nah, Trap, I'm trying to show how you get 100 million. And you trying to tell me what you did to make 5. At some point, the person who made 100 said, all right, you stay right there and I'm going to go over here. Now you done blew the opportunity. Because you trying to convince somebody that did something that you ain't never done before, that you dream about it, but you don't know what it take to get there. You so busy trying to counter fight what he's saying, what you need to be doing, but you stuck on, this is what I did.
Smoking you on press clips.
You feel me? So you go look in the comments on Instagram right now.
What do you call it? Smoking you on press clips.
Smoking on that's a fact. You're taking the snippets, you eat them, now you eating them. So you get, yeah, man, I ain't there no more. I ain't there, bro. I ain't there. You go look in the comments right now, somebody who made $100 million. They say, yep, I did this, this, and this, and this. The people who ain't never did nowhere near close to it, arguing with that man.
What exactly am I wasting my money on? What exactly am I not learning? What exactly is it that I don't know? And who do I need to learn from? Who do I need to go to and not have a full cup? Because I got to go with an empty cup to get somewhere I ain't never been. I got to be nurtured. We don't want to be nurtured because we know it all. We professionals at being average. We flirt with the idea of being wealthy. We flirt with the idea of wanting better. We flirt with it. But what I realized on my journey is when I reestablished myself, I understood that it was okay to fail at some things. Yup. It was okay to fail at some things. Because I realized that failure wasn't me not giving it my all. So where my people that work out, where y'all at? Cool, right? So you working out with the trainer. And in our mind, the trainer just come up with stuff as we get there. Right? Just you made this up, bruh. I done watched all the people on Instagram. Don't none of them do this. You sat in your bed, you saw what I don't like to do, and you specifically put 4 exercises together. Where we at? We trapping? But what happens is, one of the things I know that every trainer I went to, one of the things they always told me in these towards the end of the workout was, do it till failure. Failure? He ain't say do it till you quit. There's a difference. There's a dichotomy between that. He ain't say quit. He said do it to failure. And the reason why we do it to failure is because you do it not when the mind give up, because even in failure, the mind won't keep going. The muscle just can't do it no more. But the mind ain't never give up. And so what happens when you do it to failure is you come back the next day or the next week, and what happens is you've actually made that muscle stronger. So now failure today may be 15, but failure next week may be 25. We've increased our capacity. But quitting, see, quitting is when you have an idea that you won't get in shape. Quitting is when you got the concept that I want to be wealthy. Let me make it make sense. Quitting is when I say I want to establish generational wealth, but then when I realize what it take, I quit. I'm not doing that. That takes too much out of me. What do you mean I'm not going to be rich tomorrow? This is absurd. It's asinine. It's preposterous. You got the audacity to want to be wealthy, but you got a quitting mindset, not a failing mindset. I want to fail. I want to do it. Mentally, I ain't going to never give up. Listen, I ain't genetically modified to quit. It ain't in me. I want you to understand that you are wired to keep going. You gotta upgrade the path of prosperity. What is it gonna take for you to get there? And whatever it takes, whatever metrics need to be met, sometimes your best ain't enough and you gotta do what's required. I'm giving it my best, chap. Do more. Your best ain't enough. You got to do what's required. Trap, how you come? I was homeless. I ain't care about my best. I needed to know what was required because my best is only looked at through the prism of what I've been through.
Me, I don't need motivation. I don't need it. I was homeless at 13. Saw my mom get shot. Went to prison at 16. I got a 7-year-old daughter. We don't need motivation, bro. I got that. You feel me? Every day I wake up and see her, oh, yeah, I'm motivated. You know what I'm saying? We slept on the air mattress in 2018. We got a 10,000 square foot house right now, bro. We motivated. I'm motivated. I'm inspired, and all the other Asians you can come up with. I'm that already. We need to learn how to go from, you know what I'm saying? How do I go to the other part? I ain't gonna never. I'm willing to go head on with whatever it is. The adversity. Adversity don't make me get small. I get big because I checked my track record. It said you could go through that shit and make it. So my track record told me that I'm built for this, right? I ain't scared to lose no money because I got shot. I done been to prison. I ain't scared of none of that. All I could do is lose some money. All right, cool, we can get that back.
To be good in the stock market, I got to probably make some bad trades sometime. Bet. That's what's required. My best ain't going to require that. My best going to say, how do I avoid the loss? My requirement says, how do we get better from it? It's a different path. It's a different path. My path different. What I realized is we think $1 million is the number. I'm a millionaire. The $1 million only good for you, fam. $1 million probably only saves you. Newsflash. The $1 million probably only saves you. That's it. Harsh truth right here. I want you to keep it 100 with me. How many people, let's just keep it real. I know probably got some multimillionaires in here. I want you to say something that's real for me. I know you got some people that's striving to make their first million. I ain't tripping. We mixed up. We together. I want to ask you a question right quick. How many people $1 million was the number? That was the number. There we go. My people that's being real. Everybody else, y'all lying. Now here's the number. Watch me. What happens is once you get the $1 million, you realize it ain't enough. So what happens when you work your tail off, you invest your tail off to get to $1 million, and you realize that's just break even. It's just break even. There's a whole nother fight now. There's a whole nother fight. Not forcefully overriding weak answers and reestablishing dedication. $1 million ain't enough.
1 million don't save a whole family. 1 million don't save a whole generation. 1 million save one person, if that. You know what I'm saying? If that. So we talk about, our culture be using generational wealth, generational wealth. We use that word, it sound good, it's fancy, it's dressed up real pretty, it sound good, it's an endorphin check. You know what I'm saying? We chant it, generational wealth, right? We get it, but at the same time, we don't know a generation is from 20 to 30 years, bare minimum. You feel me? So you can't hustle for 20 to 30 years. Because now you don't got no family documents to tell the next generation how do they get to that. So now the people behind you don't got to make the same mistakes. That's to me more than anything, that's the real wealth. It ain't even much the money. It's the lessons that you leave.
So I had to put some different rules in play for my family. So here's some pillars that y'all can use from me, but your family gonna be different than mine. The first one was human capital. By yourself, you ain't building wealth. You just a little rich. Just keeping it real. Here's some harsh realities. So I had to invest in the human capital. So one of the things I started doing was every Christmas now, what we do is we go rent a big old house in Orlando. They think they coming for Christmas and we having fun and they seeing some stuff they ain't never seen before. And on the third day, I'm like, all right, we need to talk about business and finances. They're like, all right, bet. Shit, I got my own room. Shit, let's talk about it. The next thing was the intellectual capital. What happens is you got to understand where everybody's strong point at. You got to be willing to nurture them. Listen, you the one. You the revolutionary. You the one. Everybody don't got to be the revolutionary. One person needs to be the revolutionary and anchor the message because people love to follow. People love to follow. Because people ain't strong enough in their own beliefs. Every time the world change, they change. You ain't anchored to your beliefs enough. I'm anchored to I don't care what the world doing. This is what I'm doing. This is my vision. This is my sight. This is my belief system. This is what I'm dedicated to. This is the promise I'm making. Not to myself, but to my family. I'm the last one to get it out the mud. Everybody else going to get it out the market, and I don't care what the market is. So with that, we talking intellectual capital. The next one we talking about fiat capital. Now, in case you don't know what that is, that's the money we use every day, all day. Right? It ain't really worth nothing, but it's worth something. Right? Like, it ain't worth the money it's printed on, but try not having it, and you can understand the difference in your life. I always tell people, that money ain't worth nothing. Well, give me yours. You don't really need it. You don't really need it then. If it ain't worth nothing, let me go see you buy some food without that money. I don't care if you got a credit card. That's a representation of some money. All right, so that is, we got to learn how to accumulate that. It's important. The next one, asset leverage. I'm giving you the pillars to my family. Now, you create your own. So if we using stocks, one of the things I love to do, not only do we do buy and hold, but we do options too, because we won't leverage it. It's okay. If you got real estate, you need to learn how to leverage it. That's okay. If you playing the trust game and the will game and the Rockefeller way, know how to leverage it. That's okay. And the last one is spiritual capital. Man, I ain't nothing without God. And I apologize if I brand, but listen, I ain't nothing without God. I can't move without him. I was in the pig pen like the prodigal son, and I just came to myself one day. I said, this ain't it. My father got me. I'm tripping. I need us to understand that, because like God told Joshua, go possess the land. Prepare the victuals. That just means get the tools ready. Because you can't be on no path of prosperity without no tools. Get them ready. And we ain't turning no 11-day journey into 40 years. It ain't gonna take us 40 years to get it, fam. But the reason why it took them 40 years, because they was rich slaves like we talked about. They just ain't had the diamonds, but they said, Moses, are there not graves in Egypt? Why we coming out here in the desert, bruh? We could have stayed eating onions and leeks because we don't understand the value of the manna. It tastes different. Your palate ain't the same. The residue of poverty still there. The residue of check is still there. I need you to embrace the manna, because Jeremiah 29:11 told us, well, for I have plans. I got plans, not to harm you, but to prosper you. What's your path to prosperity? What's your path? What you doing? You got to ask yourself, do I want to be great, or am I cool with subpar living?